The government doesn't care about you. Banks don't care about you. You got to get your own finances in order, and you've got to get out of debt. Let's talk about today job losses, how they affect you, and how you can prepare. I'm going to put up here this survey. It was put out by the Department of Labor. They do this periodically, and it goes into great detail about many different things. But when it comes to the unemployment rate, you see it move up, you see it move down. Different people have different perspectives on which unemployment rate is correct or not correct. But let's look at some of the basic information they have in here. Know that you're not alone, but from what I've seen, what we've all seen, job losses seem to be going up. Look at this. A couple numbers to note, and this was put out on April 4th. Long-term unemployed, and they say that's about 27 weeks plus, so roughly 7 months. 1.2 million people. That's quite a few that are unemployed for 7 months or more. Then part-time, but they want to have a full-time job. They can't get a full-time job, they can only get a part-time job. 4.3 million people. Then they've got this interesting stat, not in the labor force. It says they want a job, but in the 4 weeks prior to this survey, they state that they're either not looking or didn't in those 4 weeks, or for some reason they were unavailable. 5.4 million. All right, that's 10.4 million people. I always think it's important to look at the actual data and look at the information that shows some of this is past, right? It's survey data. What about the future, and how does that look, and how might it affect you? Well, look at this information from, they call it the FRED, but it's the St. Louis Fed, and they have all sorts of information. You've probably seen the charts that I pull up here on credit card debt, etc. But look at all job postings. I'm going to put all these links in the description below. You can click through and you can pick from the different types of jobs. And I'm going to show a couple here. The first one is all job postings on Indeed. Now, they've only been tracking this for a couple years, but as you can see, the amount of job postings is down substantially. What's that telling us? Well, these are people looking to hire now. So less are looking to hire. Well, that's not good. If the unemployment rate's going up, if more people are in positions they don't want to be in, unemployed or part-time, and now the availability of jobs is going down, not good. Here's what's really concerning to me. If you look at these three, first we'll show software jobs plummeting. Now again, these are jobs that have been shown on Indeed, so this is for future hiring. Then we've got banking and finance. The amount of jobs available seems to be plummeting. And then we've got IT. The amount of jobs are plummeting. This has been something you've probably seen in some news outlets, maybe not in others, where they'll show you that regardless of job percentages going up or down, when you dig into the data, you'll find things like we just saw a lot of part-time people wanting full-time jobs, or what type of jobs are available. And a lot of these white-collar type, high-paying jobs are going down or decreasing. At least that's what this seems to be showing. So what can you do? What should you do? Well, on my channel, I always talk about getting out of debt, and you can look at the different playlists and the various ways to get out. But in this case, when I talk about budgeting, that's where this applies. So obviously you should budget, just generally speaking. But when you're getting ready for something potentially like a job loss or a bad economy, which affects us in many ways, and the current inflation, which is affecting us, you should know exactly what you spend every month. So there's two things that I would suggest because of the fact that you may be one that's lost a job or going to lose a job. Look at it from two different perspectives, just like a business. A business says, how do we make more profit? Well, we can sell more things. We can also lower our expenses. So first, look at your budget. You might be surprised, because I've gone through this myself. When I've gone through the budget, and I'll find things such as, oh wow, we've got a streaming service like Hulu. We may also have the YouTube streaming. We may also have Netflix and Paramount Plus and HBO and all these other things. And you realize that's quite a bit of money going out the door. Maybe it should be less. Things like that will rise to the top if you list out everything. Also, I've seen the situation where I had someone recently come to me, a friend, and tell me, hey, while they were just able to lower their, I won't say what provider it was, but their monthly budget, their monthly bill on their cell phones. it went down substantially. Of course, the company didn't call them and say, hey, we've got better deals. They went in because they had a phone that had a problem. Turns out they were able to almost cut their monthly cellular bill in half because rates had come down. I had that happen to myself. I moved from one house to another, and it was Verizon Fios. And what I didn't realize was that the price had gone down significantly and the speeds had gone up. I didn't find out till I moved, and I got a better deal. So look at your budget and try to trim your expenses. I'll put in the description a video where I show how to decrease your expenses on a monthly basis substantially. But more importantly, it shows how to get ready, such as how to lower and get lower minimum payments on some of your loans, so that if you fall in hard times, you won't have to spend as much. I look at my budget in two ways. I've got my regular budget, and then I've got my uh-oh budget. Something just happened, and I need to decrease my monthly expenses. That's my bare minimums. What's my bare minimum needed to survive? That's a number you should know, because if you were to be unemployed, the flip side of this is you want to make sure that you have a savings, as they all say, the emergency savings, and they always throw out 3 months. Well, you can tell from the stats we just went through, there's over 1 million people that have been unemployed who want to be working, and they've been unemployed for 27 months. Who knows about the other 5 million they were talking about, but there's at least over 1 million that for 7 months have been unemployed. So you want to see how far can you stretch your savings. So start saving and then look at your bare minimum budget to survive and then do the math. How many thousands do you need? Is it $3,000 a month for your bare minimum expenses? Car, shelter, food, heat, insurance. You can kill a lot of things like streaming services and all this sort of thing, or even cut off the air conditioning at certain times, whatever you need to do. See what the minimum is you need, then multiply that. So if you want to be more comfortable, 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, and then you'll know, okay, how much do I need to save to be able to be set for 5 or 6 months if that were to happen. From what I've seen, it doesn't look like things are going to get any better anytime soon. Who knows? And you never know what your personal situation is going to be. Sometimes things just happen. I also every Friday go over what I call the basket of goods, ways to save money in different forms than just the US dollar. Now, when you're talking about your monthly expenses, you're going to want to have dollars in the bank or dollars, physical cash dollars. As your savings gets to be longer and longer, you can rotate that into CDs or treasuries, short-term ones like a 3-month to get a higher interest rate to try to beat inflation. And then, of course, there are things such as gold, silver, etc. But for your immediate savings that you think you're going to need some sort of form of US dollar, that's every Friday I go over that. So I hope this has been helpful. Look down below. I've got links to other videos to help explain like how to get your expenses down. But bottom line is make sure you've got a monthly budget and then create a second budget, which is a bare minimum. Just make another column on your budget if you're using a spreadsheet and just start deleting the things that you don't need if you were to lose your job and see what that number is. And then start saving on a monthly basis and prepare in case you lose your job. Thanks for watching. I do these shows at least 3 times a week and going to start doing them probably every day. I hope this helps. The goal here is to get everyone out of debt so you're not dependent on the government, you're not dependent on banks, and you can achieve financial freedom. Thanks for watching.